Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Welcome to Just Human, and this video, is the long-awaited Cluster C personality disorders. So I've got my notes up on my screen, so just bear with me because I'm going to be making eye contact and coming back, back and forth. So there are three types in the Cluster C personality disorders: dependent personality disorder, avoidant personality disorder, and obsessive compulsive personality disorder. Pretty sure you've probably heard of at least one of them. You see more of the obsessive compulsive, I think, than, well, in the dependent. But let's talk. So what's avoidant personality disorder? This disorder, you avoid being around other people because you're afraid that they'll reject or criticize you. You might also believe that you just don't measure up to anybody's expectations. And some of the symptoms is not being able to take criticism. It's a big one. Avoiding social or work activities with others. You're afraid of disappointing people. You avoid new activities or new people. You're timid, you feel timid and shy, and you really do prefer to be alone. And then you have avoiding intimate relationships to avoid mockery or shame. So I think avoidant personality disorder, I've seen this diagnosis before, and it's pretty true to those symptoms. And again, you have to meet all criteria before you can be diagnosed with any personality disorder. So dependent personality disorder. So some of the symptoms of dependent personality disorder, it's feeling dependent on others but it's extreme. It's like you can't make a decision unless you have their input. Being submissive or kind of clingy to others. Not making your own plans, you're not making your own decisions, not being able or unwilling to do activities by yourself or anything by yourself. You avoid disagreeing with people, so kind of that people-pleasing nature. You seek support and encouragement from everybody. Like, did I do the right thing? Do I look okay? That kind of stuff. And again, this is stuff in the extreme. You remain in abusive or unhealthy relationships. And that doesn't mean that everybody that has a history of being subjected to DV is a dependent person, that dependent personality. That doesn't mean that. But that is kind of one of the indicators of that personality disorder. So just something to keep in mind. And again, you have to meet criteria, all the criteria listed in the DSM to be diagnosed with any personality disorder. So we've heard a lot of obsessive compulsive personality disorder or obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. And people, I don't think, get the diagnosis because you hear that, oh, it's just my OCD kicking in, or no, I really have to have this organized. This type of personality disorder in its most severe form can be really debilitating. So, it's like hyper-focus on details, hyper-focus on order, being a perfectionist and really getting upset when you don't meet, your own personal standards, especially if they're like up here and in reality they should be here. So you're constantly striving for perfection that you may not get, and then not being happy with the results. Well, no, it's more like following the rules no matter what, like black and white to the T, wanting to control any situation. Sometimes that's that is a function of anxiety. Some people feel better when they're in more control, and that's like OCD, severe anxiety. Not wanting to throw away broken or unwanted items. You see that with people who hoard. Like newspapers that are never going to be read, magazines, broken toys, broken dishes, broken furniture, not willing to get rid of it. Focusing on work to the extreme, you're ignoring everything else, your other responsibilities, but you're really just paying attention to work. And I have a cat digging my chair, and I think it's because they're wanting to eat. Being very single-minded and stubborn. No flexibility whatsoever. Being very frugal with money, being downright stingy. So again, being frugal, that ties into the, having control. It's like having control over something. But obsessive compulsive personality disorder is not the same as obsessive compulsive disorder. When you have OCD, you have unwanted obsessions with things that cause you anxiety. So you have rituals, you have actions that you do prior, like just as an example, you go into a room and you turn the light on, you move the light switch 22 times. Before you can go into the room, you have to you have to move that light switch 22 times before you can go into a room, and there's usually patterns and numbers involved with kind of OCD too, like having to open and close the refrigerator door 10 times, or it's just things like that in rituals. Like you'll brush your hair 10 times before you brush your teeth, or you lay everything out in order. There's a difference. You're doing those things to prevent anxiety. The personality disorder, it's different. Again, you look at hoarding and not wanting to throw things away, being tight with money, wanting that locus of control, being unwilling to assign tasks at work, like you have to do it, nobody else can do it, and then you get overwhelmed. And so that's the personality piece of it. These ones are really, really, really interesting. I don't think I've personally seen or met anyone with the obsessive compulsive personality disorder. I haven't, although kind of thinking back, I probably do see it in some past individuals that I've met. Avoidant, independent, I know that I've seen. I know. And again, with any personality disorder, it's medication and therapy. Those are your two items that are the best treatment. And people can recover from any of these. Recovery is not overnight. It takes time and patience. And if you know anyone that has these particular personality disorders, it's very hard to manage them and their behaviors. But at the end of the day, they're people too, right? So those are the cluster C personality disorders. Those are the kind of the easiest ones to explain. And if you want me to dig deeper by going into the DSM and listing all the criteria for any one of the disorders I've mentioned, I can do that. It is very time consuming, but I would do that for you. So let me know what you think. Cluster C personality disorders. Let's open up a chat. If you have any questions, I hope I can answer them. If you have seen these signs in others or in yourself, share below. You don't have to share your mental health history. That's not what I expect. I want a discussion. So if you like this video, click like and subscribe, and let the conversation, let it get going. I look forward to hearing from you guys. Bye-bye.